Hey, welcome back. Today we are going to do the third update for the greenhouse. Just behind me, we started the foundation work in March of this year. My husband works full time, so we just tinker away on this project as we can, and I just try my best to be as patient as possible. But yeah, I'm very excited to show you what is behind me. So let me play the clips of how we got to where we are today, and then we will discuss what was done. Enjoy. So this is where we left off last time. Since then, we have added the fascia boards and the ridge caps and beams. And while I was just scraping down the old windows with a wire brush before I stained them, my husband was working on the strapping for the roof. So that is what we are doing in these clips. And once I had done the wire brush to all the windows, I started to stain them. This is a solid stain with a 10-year warranty. I just bought it at my local Home Depot. I asked the paint specialists, and they said just with the humidity that a greenhouse can have, a stain would be the best option versus paint. So here's hoping that it really holds up well and I don't have to do too many touch-ups over the years. It really cleaned up these old windows very nicely. They look really nice sharp contrast, nice deep black. I believe the color is slate. Really cleans them up and gives them a new lease on life. And here we are with all the strapping done. And then of course, this area needed to be cleaned up. It was just sort of like a holding spot for all of our construction materials. So we added a new garden here. I planted it all up with these beautiful clearance trees, end of season. There's a video I'll include below on that. And then we made the decision to add metal siding for the bottom maybe third of the wall, just to sort of redirect water. The wood is pressure treated, but we thought the metal would really help to, like I said, redirect the water away, just for the longevity of the wood. So there we are. We're lining it up with that bottom portion of the window. The awning style window that opens is where the metal will end, and it'll sort of wrap its way around the entire greenhouse when it's done. All right, and then I had to tackle staining the rafters. So because the polycarbonate is obviously translucent, we wanted to make sure that the beams were black before we placed the roofing on. So we have a sprayer, a paint sprayer, and it can be used for stain as well. And thankfully we had this scaffolding set up, so it made it a lot easier. I am afraid of heights, but I was able to do this job. So I'm staining the beams and making sure that they're black because of course we'll be able to see them from the other side. okay after that messy job was done. It saves so much time, but really a paint sprayer wastes a lot of the stain as well. But I was happy that job was done. I continued on afterwards with the inside of the windows, just painting up these windows as well. I'm really, really excited. After painting or staining rather these windows, I'm really excited to see how nice they look. They had a very washed out brown color and this black really makes them look a lot newer. Again, I'm so happy with how these windows are looking. Definitely a newer look to them with that stained black. And the roof looks great too. This is the one side that will be open. And then our polycarbonate panels were delivered. I had the pleasure of unloading them with our tractor. My husband was working at the time, but I managed to do it. And here my husband is also installing the doors. We thought we were going to use some French doors that we had, but they were actually interior doors, so we ended up ordering just some new double doors for the greenhouse. Here's my daughter helping my husband on this day, just installing the doors. And the next project was installing the metal roofing on the one side. So on the left is the side that gets barely any sunlight. We do have a mountain range that blocks the sun on that side. So we thought a better use would be to insulate the roof on that side and just put the metal roofing on that side just to sort of moderate temperatures a little bit. Unfortunately, I was sick this day, so I just set up my phone out my window and my husband was just working by himself. I felt bad, but there he was trucking along, getting the metal roofing on. You can also see a deer who was hanging out in the pasture as well, kind of keeping an eye on my husband. So he was just adding the metal roofing to the one side, and then the side that I stained on the right will be where we have the polycarbonate because it does get sunlight on that direction. We have a local place that offers metal roofing, custom size and fit, so it's very convenient for us. We've used them before for other projects. And then here's my son helping out my husband because, like I said, I was sick this day. My husband just wanted my opinion, I think, on the fascia trim. Yeah, really liking how it's coming together. Really happy with the overall look that we have so far. And then here we are on the inside, just getting a feel for how it's going to look. Of course, this will be insulated, like I said, but yeah, the one side won't get any sun at all. And here he is trudging along without my help. I really like how he also lines up the bolts so they're all in a line. Makes it look very tidy. Really enjoy that look. All right, and now I am better helping my husband. So now we are installing the polycarbonate panels. So this is an H channel. I'll include a picture of what it looks like. It is what attaches the panel to the roof. So he's pre-drilling the holes and attaching it to the rafters. And then what happens is you slide the panel in the H channel, if that makes sense. I would say ease of install would definitely be pretty high. It definitely made sense as we went along. I think some people have used soapy water to sort of lubricate it so that it sort of comes together a little bit easier, but we had no problem putting it together. And here I am also cleaning the windows. They were stored outside, so they were very dirty. So as I was waiting for my husband, I thought it was a good opportunity to clean the windows. And then we got hit with a rainstorm, which was unfortunate, but we managed to get this panel in. Here we are figuring out how that H channel works. You don't have a lot of room to wiggle, or some wiggle room, so you definitely have to keep it at a 90-degree angle the entire time, or you will sort of get out of that channel. But once we sort of played with it, and yeah, once in a while it would get stuck on one of those lips, and my husband would just have to push it up, and then I would continue to push. Yeah, we pre-drilled all the holes, which really helped, and then he's just bolting them on to the roof. And one of the steps in order to get this sheet ready was attaching this tape. So it's a two-part step. The top, obviously, you seal to make sure no water comes in, and then the bottom is a venting part tape to make sure that it allows the humidity to exit from the panel. And then this is the metal fascia. Again, it's from the metal roof fabricator that we have locally. Really cleans up the side there. At the peak there, you can see the beam, the ridge beam comes through, and we have to put some sort of trim piece at that corner. You can see the second piece is installed and there's a bit of a gap. You can still see the wood. So yeah, a bit more finishing to be done there, but the fascia really finishes off the roof there. And I just had to include just the beautiful winter sky. It's just such a nice perk you have in the winter. The sunsets are so glorious with the different colors. Yeah, so here we are just screwing on those extra pieces of fascia. And then here's a bit of a time lapse. Just the clouds were so stunning. Just a really, really pretty night to be working on the greenhouse. And then here is the ridge cap. Of course, that just finishes off the metal roofing on the left side and the polycarbonate on the right side. My husband's screwing on just the ends. He still has to screw on the middle section, but that is to be done. And here's a clip of just getting that one last polycarbonate piece on pretty much in the dark. We used the phone light, and that was quite a struggle, but we are so happy that it is done. I hope you enjoyed those clips. It was so much fun to work on this project with my husband throughout the summer. And as you can see, we just got it completed, or at least the roof was completed before the snow. So what we have left to do is obviously the exterior walls. Interior, we plan to insulate, we plan to finish the walls. We'll see if that gets done next year. I plan to put some raised beds in the inside to grow all of my hot-loving vegetable crops. And then of course some seed starting area and a little area to relax and enjoy the warmth that the greenhouse avails in the cooler months with the sun and heat that it captures. So as you can see, there is a bench in front of the doors. We haven't put the door hardware on yet, so that is our very lazy way of closing the doors. We get a lot of wind coming through here in the winter, so we just wanted to protect the doors to make sure they're not swinging in and out. So let me take you inside the greenhouse, around the greenhouse, and show you just some of the details that we've been working on and plans to come. All right, so here we are in front of the greenhouse. We have completed the metal fascia, as you can see along the roof line there. So that is a metal fascia that goes around the entire roof fascia, if that's what it's called. We used, like I said, the double wall or twin wall polycarbonate, and we used the H channels in between. You can see the bolts are sort of lined up where those channels are. Really happy with how that came together. My husband had never done it before, so it was a sort of learn-as-you-go process. And you can see I painted the windows inside and out. I'm undecided on these doors. Let me know in the comments if I should be painting these, leaving them white. I feel like the white sort of picks up on the white of the polycarbonate because it sort of looks white up there, so it might be nice to keep them white, but I'm undecided about them. We will be continuing the metal siding on the base of just the lower, less than half of the wall, just to sort of eliminate water and snow buildup and the rot that comes with that. And then above the walls, we'll be finishing it with a ranch panel. I'll include a picture of that right now, just to let you know what it looks like. It's sort of like an easy way of making it board and batten style, which I really like the look of. And then of course we'll be trimming out all the doors and windows and then painting it probably all black. Okay, and now moving to the other side. You saw we installed the metal siding there, and that was done just to make sure that the water stays away from the wood. Even though this wood is pressure treated, we thought that it would be wise just to make sure that the metal would help sort of direct the water away from the wood. And there we are. I really love how this came together with the 3 windows in a row. I really like that. And then you can see that these 3 windows and those 2 windows, the bottom portion of the window opens and that line matches up all around, which I think will be very, very pleasing to the eye. And then same with the windows and doors. The top of the windows all the way to the top of the door is all going to be one continuous line, which I think is going to make it look really sharp. And then of course up here is unfinished. We plan to finish that double angle roof pitch, whatever you want to call it, with some polycarbonate just to allow even more light to come in. So that's why that black, so that's why the beam is painted black, just to make sure we're ready to go when the polycarbonate is cut and then trimmed out in those little triangle areas. Here we are at the back side of the greenhouse. So this side, I'll back up in a minute, is metal roof because we don't have hardly any, if any sun comes from this direction. So we thought that we would just take advantage of the solid roof and insulate it just to kind of protect, just to sort of give us a buffer of insulation in this back half of the building. Okay, and then these two windows are, you can see they're opaque, but I plan to put sort of like a film on to make them look a little bit more like leaded glass from the inside. But anyway, you won't really see, but this is just the back side. This is sort of going to be a work area. I plan to put a potting bench here. We have a little shed I'll store here with our little lawnmower, some rakes and shovels probably on the back side of this greenhouse, so that it'll be more of a practical functioning side of the greenhouse, not very aesthetically pleasing, just more practical. And then this last side is where we get the morning light. Really, really nice morning sunlight comes through these windows. I plan to finish the metal siding on the base of here like we have done on the other sides. And then up top, we will have sort of like the not as pretty vents that are essential for greenhouses. We don't see this side as much, so I'm thinking in these peaks I'll put sort of like the ventilation, the fan, and sort of like the less pretty items on this side because we don't spend a lot of time on this side and they need to go somewhere. So that is the plan. And we've been using scaffolding, which has just been a lifesaver. My husband is not afraid of heights. I am. But this really enabled him to get some of these really, really tall areas workable, which has been very convenient. Okay, now we are inside the greenhouse. So we can see the metal roofing is done on the back side of the greenhouse. Like I said, no sun comes through that area, or at least very little. I haven't painted the rafters because we plan to get someone to insulate it, spray foam, and then we'll be covering the roof. So it won't matter, but as you saw, I did paint this side because it will be visible. Really happy with how sharp that looks. I love black. Looks really nice. And like I said, this area here on the outside, I discussed this, will be for the vents and the fans and that type of thing. A little bit more unsightly, just tucked away on a side that we don't really see as much. And standing from the other side, here we are. So this is the front of the greenhouse with the doors and then a window on either side. So I plan to put some in-ground beds in this corner. And then on this side, wrapping some greenhouse benches, like sort of, tall benches that sort of wrap around this whole corner to give me a lot of room for my seed starting and just growing on plants before they are plunked outside. Now this wall, if you can imagine it, so like I said, we don't get any light coming from this direction. We have mountains that block the sun on that side. So it gave me an opportunity to sort of dream up what I would have in a greenhouse that doesn't have sun in this part. So I picked up a china cabinet that I'm going to be storing here on this wall. And it will be used for vases and just different tools, and it'll just be like a pretty way of sort of decorating the greenhouse, but I don't really feel bad about it because we're not using that space for growing anyway, so it's sort of just more of a decorative moment. Really excited about that. I'll be refinishing that in a future video as well. And then in the center here, I'm thinking a big center island that's about bar height counter, I guess up to your hips, just so that I can sort of stand and pot up things. And also when the greenhouse is clean, maybe even host like a dinner party in here, which I think would be so beautiful. With the high ceilings, just have some lights or like a big twinkly branch chandelier, something like that. I think it would be really pretty to use as well. I'm all about function and beauty, but mostly beauty. Well, that wraps up my third update for you guys about our greenhouse. Super excited about the process. I hope you are too. It's been so fun to sort of make my dreams come true with my husband's help, of course. Really looking forward to using this space for seed starting, growing on my seedlings, and just having really, really strong plants that have sort of a head start before they get outdoors. Like I said, it also is going to be a sort of hangout place. We plan to put a little fireplace in the back, not to heat it full time throughout the winter months. I'm just thinking off season when I'm not growing in it. So I'm thinking just to use the fireplace once in a while when I feel like, you know, cozying up by the fire, reading a book, and just enjoying the greenhouse and dreaming of the springs to come. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.